Joel Torres para Contralona y conmigo, Steve Corino. How are you, sir?
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's really great to be here in SummerSlam in Nashville. How do you feel about this weekend?
Oh, it's so amazing. The energy is off the hook. The atmosphere around here, especially here, the Wild Horse Saloon during the WWE tryouts, man, it is electric and it's so much fun. And the 3 days just goes so quick, and now we're ready for SummerSlam.
How about these tryouts? Your thoughts about it?
Oh, it's amazing when you watch these athletes come in on day one and they don't know what to do. They think they do, but they don't know what to do. And you can see it's like, they've just been hatched out of the egg and they don't know how to walk yet. But then by the end of the day, they all start to come together. And day 2, they're walking. Day 3, they're starting to run. And it's just amazing to watch not just the progression of their athleticism, it's just the friendships and the relationships that they build with these other people that they never knew, 2 days before.
You've been working with WWE for years now, working in the Performance Center, working with new talents. How working like that has changed not only your career, but your personal life?
Oh, it's amazing because, being a coach, you're on the other side. Now you're, affecting the progress of every sports entertainer, every wrestler that comes along. And it's amazing to me because that's a responsibility that I love. And, every day I walk into the Performance Center, and right now I have all the tag teams. So all my tag teams come, and, we're watching old tag teams of the past, and we're seeing what is new, and we're creating new things, and we're trying to make that tag team division the best tag team division of the WWE brand. So to me, I've always been a proud father, but now I'm like a father to 16, different sports entertainers in WWE, and it's amazing. It's such a heartwarming feeling.
Now that Triple H is the head of the talent relations, the head of creative also, do you think there's going to be any changes in WWE, or do you think it's going to run equally or better than ever?
So I always think that one of the keys to the WWE's success is always evolving, always seeing what the next thing is. And throughout the history, you look at from 1963 to 1979, you look at 79 to 82, then you look at, when Vince McMahon took over, and you saw the progression, you saw the evolution, you saw chances being taken. Sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do. And I think with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon now at the helm, they're going to try things the same way that Vince did. And, it's exciting. And sometimes things don't work. Sometimes things do. Things you think that weren't going to work might work. And for example, I was totally against having people here to watch the tryouts. I thought, that's an awful idea. It's going to not work. Within the first 10 minutes, I'm like, this is the genius idea. This is amazing. I hope we do this all the time. We got to evolve this into something else. So it's, trying to forecast the future, but it's always uncertain. So you always got to try, and it makes it exciting.
Let's talk about Puerto Rico. Obviously, in Puerto Rico, everyone knows you, your career there. I know you also helped other new talents grow up in the business. What can you tell us about that?
Puerto Rico has such a, special place in my heart. The first time I went to Puerto Rico was 1997. I was 24 years old, wrestling for, WWC in Capital. And, and I was in awe of Carlos Colon, and I was in awe of Victor Jovica. And then you got your Rico Suaves and your Ray Gonzalez's. And, because as a kid, I grew up reading the magazines. And every once in a while, you would see a story in Puerto Rico. And it was an exotic place for me. And as a pro wrestling fan, the blood and guts, as they used to call it, Memphis, Mid-South, Puerto Rico. I'm like, man, I belong in Puerto Rico. And then you get there, and the passion of the fans, and the quality of the opponents. And I got lucky because I got to wrestle the Ray Gonzalez's, and I got to wrestle the Chicky Stars, and then then I got to help develop talent like BJ or Orlando Colon. Whether there was Angel, there were so many. Then the next day I would be in there with Thunder and Lightning, and they were older and they were more experienced. It was just such a fun time to see the different types of development that people had, the different mindsets of what professional wrestling looks like on the island. I even learned back then it was different towns had different cultures and stuff like that. As someone that grew up in Canada and the US and Northeast US, Puerto Rico was an island, and you knew Puerto Rican people. But then when you got to Puerto Rico and you really got to feel the culture and you got to see the pride in Puerto Rican fans and Puerto Rican people as a whole, like you fall in love with it. And I laugh because I left Puerto Rico in 2009 for the full time, and one of the first things I did is I moved to the beach in North Carolina because I wanted to have that island atmosphere again, and it's amazing. It's a place that I miss too. I totally miss it.
Awesome. It's okay.
Just walked in on our
So we can say that helping develop talent in Puerto Rico may help you also get here in WWE at the position you're in now?
Oh, I definitely think it did. I definitely think the ideas of, because WWE, we're sports entertainment. It's not just professional wrestling. We wrestle in the ring, but, you're a WWE superstar. So, I felt like trying to help develop talent in Puerto Rico allowed me to, see that side, because Puerto Rico has such great wrestlers, but it's like, okay, let's bring some of the entertainment out, and how are you going to connect with that crowd? What you see on TV of what someone else is doing might not work because of where you're at, who you're performing in front of, and stuff like that. So it definitely gave me a good foundation. So when I did get to try out here, I had something in mind. Oh man, we're developing talent. We got to do this and this and this, and it made it so exciting for me.
Awesome. And okay, so no, it's okay, it's okay, it's cool.
It's live too. That's the funny thing.
So to end this interview, I want to thank you, Steve, for being part of this interview in Contralona.
Thank you so much.
To end this interview, a quick message to all the fans in Puerto Rico that are watching you right now, that respect your career, that watch you every Saturday night in Puerto Rico.
I just want to say to all of you that still watch, and I know you all still watch because I live part-time in Orlando, Florida, and my maintenance guy was a huge WWC fan and knocked on my door once and said, "Hey, are you Corino?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm here to join WWC," right? I'm like, "Wow, this is great." But yeah, I miss the island. I miss the Puerto Rican people, and it's such a wonderful time in my life and my career, and there's no way I could be here in Nashville for SummerSlam weekend if I didn't have that time in WWC.
Awesome. It's been amazing talking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Steve Corino, lo vieron aquí donde más en Contralona conectando la lucha libre. Contigo.